Have you ever wondered what the longest flight ever recorded was and how the pilots managed to stay airborne for that long? There's something thrilling, isn't there, about the idea of flying for days on end, soaring through time zones and witnessing the world from a bird's-eye view. It's not just about the journey, but about pushing the limits of human endurance and technological innovation. This is the allure of long-duration flights. It's a challenge that has captivated aviators and adventurers since the dawn of flight. It's about breaking records, testing the boundaries of what's possible, and proving that the human spirit is capable of incredible feats. And when it comes to record-breaking flights, one stands out among the rest. A flight so long, it's hard to believe it actually happened. A flight that remains unmatched to this day. A flight that lasted 64 days. Yes, you heard that right. 64 days. Well, brace yourself as we journey back to 1958 to revisit the remarkable story of the longest flight in history. On the 4th of December 1958, two brave men, Robert Tim and John Cook, took off from McCarran Airfield in Las Vegas. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a warm glow over the Nevada desert as they ascended into the crisp morning air. Their journey was more than just a flight. It was a daring challenge against the limits of human endurance and aeronautical engineering. They were not alone in their quest. Their trusted companion was a humble Cessna 172, a popular aircraft known for its reliability and ease of handling. But this was no ordinary Cessna. This bird had been thoroughly modified to meet the unique demands of their mission. The back seats were removed to make room for an extra fuel tank. A small sink was installed to provide the pilots with a means of personal hygiene during the flight. Even a special in-flight refueling system was rigged up, allowing a truck to match their speed on a straight stretch of road and pump fuel up to them. Now, you might be wondering, how would they sleep, eat, or even use the restroom? Well, they had thought of that too. They took turns sleeping, one always awake to keep the plane in the air. They had a simple stove to heat up canned food and a basic cooler for storing water and other essentials. As for the restroom, well, let's just say they made do with the limited privacy the small plane offered. The journey wasn't without its challenges. Right from the start, they had to deal with icy conditions that threatened to freeze their fuel lines. They had to constantly monitor their engine performance, keenly watching for any signs of trouble. The mental and physical strain was immense, but they were prepared. The goal was simple yet daunting: to break the existing record of 50 days of continuous flight. The world watched with bated breath as they embarked on their quest, their small plane a symbol of human determination and resilience, soaring high above the clouds. And as they set off into the vast azure skies, one couldn't help but marvel at the audacious spirit of these two men, ready to etch their names in the annals of aviation history. As the days turned into weeks, life in the tiny cockpit of the Cessna 172 became increasingly difficult. Imagine the confines of a compact car and you'd have a pretty good idea of the space available in the cockpit. Cramped and narrow, it was not designed for long-term habitation. This confined space was a challenge that Robert Tim and John Cook had to endure for 64 consecutive days. It wasn't just a question of comfort. Being in such a tight space for an extended period could lead to health problems, including deep vein thrombosis and muscle atrophy. Sleep deprivation was another major obstacle. The human body needs rest to function properly, but in the cockpit of a Cessna 172, getting a good night's sleep was practically impossible. The constant hum of the engine, the need to monitor the flight instruments, and the inherent risk of flying made it difficult to achieve deep, restful sleep. Over time, this could lead to impaired judgment, slower reaction times, and even hallucinations. Then, there was the monotony. The vast majority of their time was spent above an endless expanse of desert or ocean, with little to break the monotony. This could lead to a psychological condition called the empty sky syndrome, which results in feelings of isolation, depression, and anxiety. But Tim and Cook were not ordinary men. To deal with waste, they used a simple but effective solution: a hose that could be extended out of the cockpit window. For refueling, they devised an innovative system that allowed them to refill the plane's tanks while still in flight, thus eliminating the need to land. These solutions were not perfect, but they were enough to keep them in the air, to keep them moving forward. They faced each challenge with determination and ingenuity, never losing sight of their goal. Despite these unprecedented challenges, Tim and Cook remained undeterred, their eyes firmly set on the record. On the 50th day, as the sun rose, Tim and Cook had done it. They had broken the previous record. Picture this moment, if you will. The feeling of triumph, of achieving something so monumental, it will be etched in the annals of aviation history forever. The cockpit, their home for the past 50 days, was filled with a sense of euphoria. The previous record, set at 49 days, 7 hours and 15 minutes, was now a thing of the past. Tim and Cook had just inked their names into the record books. Their faces, weary yet gleaming with joy, told a tale of endurance, resilience, and relentless determination. The moment was overwhelming, yet there was an air of humility about them. They didn't bask in the glory for too long. There was no extravagant celebration, no popping of champagne bottles. Just a shared glance between the two pilots, a nod of appreciation, and a firm handshake. It was a quiet acknowledgement of their shared endeavor, a silent testament to their grit. They had endured sleepless nights, extreme weather conditions, and countless hours of solitude. They had experienced the thrill of flying above the clouds, the serenity of the night sky, and the raw beauty of the earth from thousands of feet above. Through it all, they held on to their unwavering resolve, their shared dream of achieving the unimaginable. However, this was not the end of their journey. They didn't stop at the 50-day mark. There was no turning back, no resting on their laurels. They had a larger vision, a more audacious goal. They wanted to set a new record, one that would stand the test of time, one that would inspire generations of pilots to dream bigger, to fly higher. They decided to continue their flight, to push their limits even further. They wanted to set a new benchmark, a new standard for long-duration flights. They wanted their names to be synonymous with endurance and perseverance. They wanted their story to be a beacon of hope and inspiration for future aviators. But they weren't satisfied with just breaking the record. They decided to set a new one that would be hard to beat. And so, with renewed vigor and determination, they continued their extraordinary journey. Finally, after 64 days, 22 hours, and 19 minutes in the air, the flight came to an end. It was a landing unlike any other. The day was February 7th, 1959, a date that would etch itself into aviation history. The aircraft's wheels kissed the tarmac in a gentle touchdown that belied the incredible journey it had just undertaken. The airport was buzzing with an electric mix of anticipation and relief. As the aircraft taxied to a halt, the crowd erupted into a spontaneous cheer. The pilots had done it. They'd made history. The reception was, to put it mildly, overwhelming. The pilots were greeted as heroes, their names forever linked to a feat of human endurance and ingenuity. The atmosphere was thick with triumph and emotion. The pilots, who had spent the equivalent of over 2 months in the air, were visibly moved by the reception. They had pushed the limits of what was thought possible, and their achievement was a testament to their skill, determination, and courage. But the legacy of this flight extends far beyond the pilots themselves. It was a pivotal moment in aviation history, one that pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It demonstrated that long-duration flights were not just a dream, but a reality. It showed that with the right planning, preparation, and execution, the sky was not the limit. It was the starting point. This historic flight opened the door to a new era in aviation. It paved the way for long-haul flights, for round-the-world journeys, and for the exploration of the farthest corners of our planet. It inspired a generation of pilots and ignited a passion for aviation in countless others. It was, in every sense of the word, a game-changer. This flight remains a testament to human endurance and the unrelenting pursuit of pushing boundaries. It reminds us that with courage, determination, and a little bit of audacity, we can achieve the impossible. We can push past our limits and reach for the stars, and in doing so, we can change the world. So, there you have it, the incredible tale of the longest flight in history. This remarkable journey was not just about the distance or the time spent in the air. It was a testament to human endurance and innovation, a demonstration of what we can achieve when we dare to dream and push beyond our limits. From the moment the aircraft took off, the crew faced unanticipated challenges, and yet their resolve never wavered. They devised ingenious solutions to overcome mid-flight difficulties, showing us that creativity truly knows no bounds, especially at 30,000 feet. But perhaps the most striking aspect of this journey was the record-breaking moment: 64 days of continuous flight, an achievement that still stands tall after 6 decades. This journey wasn't just about setting a new record, it was about rewriting what we thought was possible. It's a story of endurance, innovation, and the relentless human spirit, a story that continues to inspire even after 6 decades.